up, y'all? It's your girl Zeze back with another mother loving vid. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on my notifications bell, get us on a thumbs up, share this mug, all that. You feel me? So today's video is going to be not another reaction. I'm tripping. I was about to say another reaction. It's actually going to be kind of a reaction. I just want to play these two videos and kind of branch off on them to talk about the subject they're on. So yeah, let's get into it.
So apparently Charles and I have a disagreement about the child support laws in Georgia that allow the mother to collect child support before the child is born.
I disagree with the new law because I feel like a father shouldn't have to pay child support for a child that isn't here. Two, if he does have to pay child support, it should be capped at a certain dollar amount for an unborn child.
Well, with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the mother has to keep the child. She can no longer have an abortion. And the laws have now determined when a child is a child. And so now that the child is determined to be a child, at the heartbeat, child support should attach for the child the same way it does at birth.
I think that thought process needs to be worked out further before they made that decision.
Well, it's a child, so you have to pay child support for your child. Now the law is clear on when it's a child.
Very interesting. Okay. Now it's crazy because I've talked about child support and financial abortions before, but I never really thought about, or I haven't really talked about this aspect of, child support, which would be receiving child support before the baby is actually born. See where that stance comes from, because I mean, just like the sister said, especially after Roe versus Wade, now we're talking about recognizing a child in the womb. You get pregnant, there's things, you're talking about doctor's appointments, you might need certain medications, you might have to do certain checkups, whatever the case may be. It can be costly, okay, being pregnant. Granted, there is a lot of help for pregnant women, but even outside of that, there's still things like a woman not being able to work as much, having to get new clothes because your body is changing, possibly having to change your diet or include other things inside your diet, like herbs and teas, fruits, vegetables, whatever the case may be, especially when it comes to medical. If you don't have Medicaid, which if you do have Medicaid, the father actually has to pay back. So that's already expense he actually has to help you with anyways, which I didn't know. My sister told me that. If you don't have some sort of Medicaid and you have to pay for that yourself, pay for your health insurance yourself, like those are expenses. Again, that kind of makes sense for the father of the child to be helping you with. But what concerns me is that this could easily turn into a finesse. You have women already, Brittany Renner, who are hunting young men, young successful Black men at that, just so they can have a baby and get a check. With this, in addition to it, that could, you can open up the floodgates, because whereas before, you had to actually have the baby to get the child support, you could real life fake your pregnancy. Like, women have faked it for less. So you think some of them ain't gonna fake it for a check? Even if they're not necessarily faking the whole pregnancy, they could legit get pregnant, have an abortion, maybe out the state, out the city where the father doesn't know, and then fake like they're really pregnant up until they actually tell them they got an abortion. Like, they could have got an abortion in like 3-4 weeks, but then wait till like 3-4 months to tell them. And now this brother think you just up and decided to go get one when you actually been decided, and you've been collecting these checks for the last 3-4 months. But they have a second part to this video as well, so let me play that.
The child support for the unborn child. It does have to be confirmed that the father is the father. So I did a little research in the last couple of days to see how early the paternity of the child can be established. And I've seen some varying results. Some of my friends who are doctors are saying that they're not aware of any testing that can be done before the child is born, other than the test with the amniotic fluid.
That's correct. But then in Georgia, there was also some facilities that said that they can do the testing before the child is born on the fetus.
I saw some testing that says that they can do it as early as 7 weeks. The other thing is that the child support is only for medical expenses and pregnancy-related expenses.
But then I have an issue with what is pregnancy-related issues. There were comments that were saying, well, now you're going to be paying my rent because I'm pregnant with your child. Again, this is where some of the things I feel like weren't well thought out.
Well, there are expenses when you're pregnant because you can't work.
Well, technically, you can still work even though you're pregnant, because you can work from home. My sister was on that like the last few weeks of her pregnancy. I know people that have worked up until full term, literally up until they was about to deliver. There are a lot of women that are affected by their pregnancy and cannot do their job, especially if you had a physically, like a job that requires a lot of physical labor before you got pregnant. You're not going to be able to do that all the way throughout your pregnancy. If you have other health conditions that may come with it, maybe you get so big you literally can't stand. There are women who get so big they can't stand on their feet for long periods of time, so they have to be put in wheelchairs up until they have the baby. And so stuff like that will, like, should the father have to pay for the wheelchair? And is he required to pick up the slack? Even if she's not in a wheelchair, she just can't stand, she's not comfortable standing for that long and she has to get another job. Is it the father's responsibility to pick up or help her while she's looking for another job? And personally, I don't think that's always fair. If y'all not together, like if y'all together, this isn't really even a conversation. If y'all together, then you're most likely like, babe, you good? I'm gonna pick it up while you know what I'm saying, chill out for the next couple weeks and not work before you had this baby. I got you. Two people who just got to know each other, don't know each other well, maybe they was messing with each other for a while, never had intentions of taking each other seriously, and now they're in this predicament of having a child. Should that person have to pay your rent, have to help you with your rent? And should he be obligated legally to have to pay your rent or pay other expenses you can't pick up on because you're pregnant? If I'm being real, a part of me want to say no. If we talking about laws here, enacting laws and making people have to do stuff, I mean, I don't really think he should have to do that, because let's just be real here. At least in most cases, women have about a good 5 or 6 months before they get to a point, at least like a good 5 or 6 points, 5 or 6 months usually, before they get to a point in the pregnancy where they physically can't do things, especially if it takes them a while to show. There's a lot of times they're still able to do the same things, like as if they weren't pregnant. If you're like that, then you had time to plan ahead, so when you did get to a point where you couldn't do this work, you had another way of income. Now, I do admit it does sound a bit harsh, like it makes sense in my head, but saying it out loud, it's still like, damn, but a pregnant lady gotta work. But you gotta think again, the finesse, because some women are gonna act like their symptoms or their health is just so bad that they can't work even when they can. They're just fake. Like, how you gonna tell a pregnant lady she feel good enough? Like, no, I'm saying my head hurt. I'm saying I feel nauseous. I'm saying I don't want to get up. I'm saying my back hurt too much. The stomach is too much for me. How you gonna tell her, oh no, you just being lazy? Oh no, you lying. Your back not hurting. Like, how can you really tell? The fact that they brought up even a paternity test, doing a paternity test, because a lot of women already lie about who the father of the child is. Okay, so paternity test has to be mandatory. It would have to be mandatory if you're going to make this man pay for a child who's not even here yet. But if it's on the newer side of technology and it hasn't been tested for that long, that's another way that could be finessed too, because you could be giving out false results. What exactly is in the realm of pregnancy related? Because there's a lot related outside of medical. There's a lot. We talking about even when your body changes, that's pregnancy related. You're going to have to naturally buy more clothes. That's pregnancy related. If you wear a certain type of shoe that aren't comfortable, maybe you have to buy more flats or buy more slides, something more comfortable. So those are also expenses as well. Is that something that the father should have legally be obligated to pay? I don't think so. If I'm being real, I don't think so. Because on the other hand, really what it is just like, we all have our parts. When you signed up as a woman to get pregnant, you should have known what came with that. You should have known the cost, not just of your reality or your social life or your body or your mindset, things like that, but also the cost in actuality, like the expenses that come with you having a child. You made that choice to put that on you without a husband. Okay, you made that choice without a man there who is signed up to consistently be there for you and your child. This is part of the deal you asked for. Even on the flip side, for men, like men go through things through pregnancy as well. I know, like when my sister was pregnant, her boyfriend slept a lot. Like at the beginning of pregnancy, for some reason, he could not stop sleeping. This Negro would sleep, come home, sleep all day. Like, we didn't even see this man. He would be at work or sleep. He was more tired, but not just from pregnant, being her being pregnant, but also you got stress. You got he's working more to provide for his baby and for her. You got they have another child. He's having to pick up more of the slack for their child because she can't do as much. Think about the concerns of the father. Like, it's in male nature to want to help, to want to, to want to fix, to want to protect. You can't only do so much as a man if your woman is saying she's clamping and in pain. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's something is going on with the baby and y'all at the hospital, awaiting results, and there's nothing he can really do. Even his input into your pregnancy, there's only so much say-so he has. You control everything that happens to you. If he wants you to take certain vitamins, do certain things, work out in certain ways to aid in helping his baby be healthy, it's your choice to do it or not. If you choose not to do it, now this man is worrying for the next 9 months. You just put on a anxiety, stress, because now he's awaiting to see if his child is going to be all right when he comes out, because you're doing whatever the hell you want, you know? So do they get any leeway for emotional cost? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think a man should have to pay child support before the child is born? Okay, what do you think of some of the precautions they should take if they do legalize that? Other than that, that's all I got. All right, y'all. We do not play by our green. You fuck with the team. Might find your West in the creek. We crossing our teams. We don't never miss it.